Hey guys, this is Justin. Hello and welcome to another video. Now, I have to admit, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to make this one, whether it should go, for example, on the gaming channel instead, but since this channel is Star Wars, Halo, and more, and it's been so long since we've gotten anything Halo-wise to talk about, I thought it was worth taking a look at the new game being released by Bungie, obviously creator of Halo. Marathon is a reboot of the OG Marathon series, which saw its first game released in 1994. And hey, take a look at that logo. If you're a Halo fan, you probably recognize it, and that's because Marathon is embedded in the DNA of Halo, which is another one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this game. Marathon is what you'd probably now call a boomer shooter, but was unique for, not surprisingly, if you know Bungie of that era, its intricate storyline told largely through the environment and things like terminals. You see lots of Halo in Marathon, rampant AI, fighting alone against aliens, an existential threat to Earth. People have always tried to make the connection to Halo, but I digress. It was announced that Bungie would be rebooting Marathon, and that's the game we're talking about today because we just got a bunch of new footage, a first look at the actual gameplay, and I've got to admit, I feel pretty mixed about it. I'm not going to pretend that I was the biggest Marathon fan, but I certainly played the game, especially at friends' houses growing up, and I do find it really interesting that in Bungie's sort of new stage under Sony, having moved on, I guess, from Destiny, that they've returned to their roots. At least sort of, and I guess one of my big questions is, how is this Marathon? Gameplay-wise, things are going to be a lot different this time around, because instead of a traditional first-person shooter with a single-player and multiplayer mode, Marathon appears to be solely an extraction shooter. If you've never played an extraction shooter before, like Tarkov, the basic idea is that the map has things you want to collect, and in doing so, you face off against both AI enemies, i.e. PvE, and other teams, PvP. The goal is not necessarily to get the most kills, but to leave the match with as much loot as possible, which you can use to upgrade your character for future missions. Marathon is also doing the thing it seems like every game is doing now by introducing character classes. And I want to talk about the gameplay first, and this is honestly where I'm going to be the most negative. This game does not look interesting to me. I was really intrigued at the idea of Bungie introducing a new first-person shooter, bringing Marathon back, but I don't know, to me this looks a lot like an Apex Legends or Destiny or really any number of hero shooters. The actual gunplay, especially against the AI, seems quite boring. The movement is not nearly as fluid and exciting as I would want from a Bungie game, and Bungie keeps trying to say it's not a hero shooter, but it clearly is. You've got, I think it's 4 basically biosuits that your character can choose to inhabit. They look the same, you change their loadout, but it's pretty much a hero shooter. I don't know, if I'm being honest, I was never super impressed with Destiny's gunplay, and this looks like more of that, just without as much of the lore building and the raids, which seem to be one of Destiny's strongest assets. Again, I say that as a total outsider. I was never in love with the game, so maybe Marathon was never going to be for me, but it's just kind of weird. The gameplay is slow, but not brutal or unforgiving like some other arena shooters, again, Escape from Tarkov. But with what looks to be a longer time to kill, I'd rather see more dynamic movement. But again, I guess we'll see. I think a lot of the fun will depend on how well the weapons and abilities work together. I'm just, as an outsider, not someone who's followed every inch of this game's development, giving my thoughts. It looks a lot like Apex Legends has an extraction mode. That's my honest opinion, and that personally is not something that I am interested in. As I get older, I spend a lot less time playing first-person shooters. If I'm going to play one with any sort of consistency, I've got to be all in. Halo Infinite was a good example. I was all in. The base gameplay loop was great, although the amount of content, not so much. I do kind of wonder what the OG Marathon fans are feeling right now. Like the ones who have been keeping the communities alive, who have been talking about the trilogy for 30 years now, only to have a AAA game come in, which, if I'm being honest, if I watched this Marathon trailer, having not known it was Marathon, I would never in a million years have guessed it was the same universe. And again, I'm only like an outside fan. I don't claim to be an expert or a diehard, but what is Marathon about this? The gameplay isn't, the visual identity doesn't seem to be. It feels like Bungie wanted to make an extraction shooter and they had an old IP they could revive for a little bit of fan interest. Although, even with that being said, it's not like Marathon is a massive draw to new gamers. Not to denigrate the series or anything, but it's not like they're slapping the Halo name on this. It's kind of funny to me, if I were to look at this without context, it looks more like Oni than Marathon, Far Future Oni. I don't know, I watched this and I didn't feel anything, I guess. It didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. Aside from a couple of gameplay trailers and some creator captured gameplay as well, we also did get an 8-minute cinematic trailer. I think one of the more interesting aspects and one of the things that will get people talking about Marathon is the visual style. For me, the character work is really, really strong. Not surprised, it's Bungie. That's always been one of their best aspects. Although, of course, the Bungie from now is very, very different than the Bungie of yesteryear. The environments, to me, though, I don't know. So you're playing on Tau Ceti. It's an abandoned human colony. I do think that the cinematic stuff is definitely more interesting visually than the gameplay stuff, which is usually the case. But I do feel like they've even taken a step back from the initial art style reveal where everything was a bit cleaner. I don't know, call it like modular chic or something. I'm really trying not to be a hater for this game. It's just, I don't know, it's not doing anything for me. The trailer was cool, but I wasn't captured by it. The gameplay looks fine, but not good enough for me to want to dedicate the hours you need to be good enough in a first-person shooter to play online. We'll see. Bungie has, at the very least, earned a try for me. Everything Bungie puts out, I will try. I didn't love Destiny, but the first game especially I thought was a memorable enough experience, just wasn't worth, continuing the live service model for me personally. Everything they've done so far has been at the very least memorable, so even if this game is not for me, I'll try it. But I was whelmed by the trailer, and I think a lot of people felt that way as well. The first look at Marathon, I think, had a lot of people ready to see more, but I think we hear Bungie and we expect something which will change how we see first-person shooters. That was certainly the case with Halo and the original Marathon. This doesn't feel like that to me, but I hope I'm wrong. I know a lot of the people who have played the game seem to enjoy it. You can check Hidden Xperia's channel. He did a full breakdown of his hands-on testing with the game. I think he said he's been playing it for 2 years. So take his opinion. He knows a lot more about the original Marathon series than I do as well. Either way, the closed alpha will be April 23rd with the release September 23rd. So you're not waiting long either way. The original 3 Marathon games are also available for free on Steam right now, so try them. Anyway, that's all I've got. See you guys later. Bye-bye.